put up a fight, no. Just know me like we knew, we never had to say your word, not your show. Silence, you.
Hey, this is your Paradise Plum, Naomi Cowan, and you are watching My Personality on Irie Jam 360. If it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be alive. My parents met through reggae music. My mom moved to Jamaica to do reggae music, and then she got introduced to my dad as our booking manager, and then he booked her for life. So if it wasn't for both of my parents being in the music industry at the time that they were, I would have never come into being. So that's why music. The advice I would give to anybody emerging into the music industry or any other field, whatever, is just to continue to push to be yourself. The reason why I say that is because I think each and every one of us has something very special to bring to the world. And if we don't focus on what that is and what the essence of who you are, you'll get lost in the noise and try to become replicas of other people. And so I think it's important that we just continue to look within ourselves, learn more about ourselves as best as we can through every life experience, and then look at how we can put that back into our craft, and share that with the world, because our experiences are meant to benefit and help teach others. So yeah, just be yourself. Just do you, boo. That's my advice. Yeah, you would, if you looked on my phone, you'd hear a lot of, I guess what's called like indie pop or alternative. So I really like this Australian artist. His name is Matt Corby. He's like a multi-instrumentalist. He plays like the keys, guitar, and like percussion, and he produces a lot of his stuff, and he has a beautiful voice. Like if I had a crush on somebody's voice, it would be maybe him. Justin Nozuka, also a Canadian folk act who I really like. I have like all of Lauryn Hill's Unplugged on my phone. That's a staple. No matter what device I have for music, Lauryn Hill's Unplugged album has to be there. A few of Kanye's Dropout album is always on like a phone or a computer of some sort. What else is always there? I would say that's what you'd always, and Robin Thicke's Evolution of Robin Thicke album, like that's one of my favorite albums as well. And then Songs of A Minor by Alicia Keys. And the reason why that album is special to me is because I got to see her perform when I was very young. She came to Jamaica, and that's where I first saw like a female behind an instrument, like just killing it, you know. And I remember like just going home and like trying to, you know, redo that. And I even ended up doing a lot of her music when I was Miss Teen Jamaica. So when I had to perform and do like little talent competitions. So those are the key things. And then lots of Dennis Brown as well. Okay, but you said outside of reggae. Okay, that's it. I could keep going, but that's it. Okay, so this is a slightly sad story. I chose media because, you know, growing up, the way I was raised, my parents wanted to give me like the best possible in the world, you know, best education, exposure to like, you know, the different possibilities. And so I think because I grew up in music, I wasn't attracted to it as maybe a lot of people are. A lot of people are attracted to the glitz and the glamour, but I saw like everything. And so, you know, going to the kind of high school I went to and things like that, I was like looking at trying to create a career for myself. And at the time, music seemed more unstable than maybe something like the media. And because I also had a gift in speaking, and I really did like talking to people, interviewing them and things like that, it kind of like made more sense in my head to do media. And I had this fear of like doing music and then it not working out, and just a lot of fear kind of held me back. And so that's why I chose media first. But the thing is that like the more, you know, one thing with music is like when it's inside of you, it has to come out in some way, shape or form. So I think I just got to a point where I said, you know what, like I would never want to live in regret. I'd never want to, you know, have a midlife crisis and like wish I did music or something crazy. I just did not want my life to be a Lifetime movie. And so I just had to just grow some balls and just say, you know what, I'm going to do it. And just do it. It was just one of those things. So it was really fear that held me back from music, but then it was the fear of regret that pushed me to do it. And that's why. Yeah, My time in Canada changed me quite a bit. In a few ways. It first of all allowed me to become more accepting of myself. You know, in Toronto at least, it's a very creative city with so many different types of people. And I think growing up in a small country like Jamaica, we can be very conditioned into thinking about people like in our little categories and putting people in a box. And so even when I went to school, I kind of grew up, well, when I was in high school, you know, I was more considered like a bit of a like a troublemaker or a chatterbox because I didn't fit in with the other students. I wasn't like the perfect student with the perfect grades. And so when I went to college, I was actually empowered to be myself, and like I actually became a strong leader amongst my peers because, you know, in that environment everyone was very like individual and they encouraged individuality, and so I developed this confidence in just like doing my own thing. So my time there allowed me to learn from other people from different cultures and get like a global perspective on different things in life. And so you become more accepting of different people based on their experiences, and you realize, wait, like, you know, you can't hate against people because of their religious preference or their sexual preference or whatever the case is. Like, we're literally all human beings, you know what I'm saying? So my time there did allow me to have a better global point of view. And I learned so much from my friends who, you know, as I said, I have friends from like ran away from different countries because of war in the Middle East. And then, you know, I had friends that like, I may have been their first black friend. You know what I mean? Like those little things make you up as a person for sure. Yeah, I take things as they come. I mean, I do think it's good to have ideals about like, what's your 5-year plan? Like, I kind of hate that question when someone asks me that on a date or something. I just kind of like throw up a little bit in my mouth because I'm like, oh, this is not good. And the only reason why I can only plan so much, you know, in hopes that, okay, when you plan for XYZ to happen, it should lead to ABC, whatever the case is. But the thing is that there's so many things that are not in our control. And I've learned that if I become like, like enslaved to one goal happening within one time period, then I will literally become depressed because it didn't happen. And then you feel like a failure, and then you go in this like mental circle, and you turn around and you look off and you're like, oh my God, why am I like moving to Timbuktu because I'm so sad? Like you know, so for me, I try to plan in shorter to medium term length kind of a thing, and then know that it will make up a bigger picture that I really can't see just yet. I know I think I know the quality of what I want to achieve, but I just have to trust that, like, you know, that God is in charge of the quantity and how big it will get. But I just have to give my best today and just know that that is enough. That's the way I see it. I'm afraid of birds. And yeah, I just don't like birds. And I also, this is something, I can't really eat a whole fish by myself with bones. Somebody has to pick the bones out for me. That's really embarrassing for a Jamaican, but I watched my brother choke on 2 bones once when we were young, like at Hellshire Beach, and it traumatized me for years. But I'm a pescatarian, meaning I mainly eat fish and vegetables. So yeah, like if we go to any restaurant and there's like a steamed fish or something on the menu, if there isn't a lot of lighting, like if it's a dim lit place, I won't order a whole fish. I'll have to get like a fillet. It's very embarrassing. Or if I go to Hellshire, it just takes me a good hour. Like I have to like sit down and I eat and I look and I'm like, oh God, and I'm like, oh, is there a bone in my throat? And I have a slight phobia of fish bones, and like I can't swallow really big tablets. I can swallow like an Advil, but the massive horse pills, I have to put it in yogurt or something. So I'm like a 10-year-old child. That's something a lot of people don't know. And I have a weird sneeze, but I can't sneeze for you on the spot. That's something a lot of people don't know. I wish people still listen to the radio. The only reason why I said that is because when I hear stories of how songs used to break back in the day, you know, I guess because there's just limited media. Now we have so many platforms. But there's a time where once you had a good quality song and the radio heard, like the disc jockey heard it or whatever, they would play it and your song would break and it would hit. And then, you know, as an artist, you'd be respected for the quality of the work that you put in. Now there's so many elements. Of course, there's image and there's this and that. And then it's like, what kind of money do you have behind you? Do you have this like massive label, or do you have this big producer? Whatever the case is. So there's a part of me that just wished that it was a little simpler for the sake of artists that truly put a lot of effort into creating art, you know, and that they would have room, because sometimes there's no room for everybody and you have such dope talent out there, and it's hard for their voices to be heard just because they might not be getting a forward from this artist and that kind of stuff. It is the way the game is now, but if I could change it, I would love to have simplified it so that everybody had an opportunity to be heard.